The day trust died. The silence before the storm. Captain Sarah floated in the observation deck of the merchant's dream, watching the stars drift past in their endless dance. 20 years she had been hauling cargo between Earth's colonies, and in all that time, she had never seen anything but peace. The Galactic Commerce Union had brought prosperity to humanity. The Vexery shared their crystal technology. The Quillen taught humans advanced agriculture. The Drakner provided medical breakthroughs. The Silthene offered engineering marvels. The Koroth gave humanity access to their trade network spanning hundreds of worlds. Her vessel carried 15,000 tons of processed metals from the mining colony of New Calgary, bound for the shipyards orbiting Mars. It was routine work, boring even. Sarah preferred boring. Boring meant safe. Boring meant her crew of 43 went home to their families every cycle. "Captain, we're receiving some strange readings," her communications officer, Lieutenant Jake Morrison, called from the bridge. His voice carried an edge that made Sarah's instincts prickle. She had served with Jake for 8 years. He didn't get nervous without reason. Sarah pushed off from the viewport and glided through the zero-gravity corridor back to the command deck. What kind of strange? Multiple quantum signatures dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Big ones. Military-grade power outputs. Jake's fingers danced across his console. They're positioning themselves in orbit around New Calgary. Sarah's heart began to pound. IFF signals. That's the weird part. They're broadcasting Galactic Commerce Union credentials, but the ship configurations don't match anything in our database. Jake looked up, his face pale in the blue glow of the displays. "Captain, there are hundreds of them. Get me visual confirmation. Now." Sarah strapped herself into the command chair, her mind racing through possibilities. A military exercise? They would have been notified. A diplomatic convoy? Not with those numbers. Pirates? Impossible. The GCU had eliminated piracy in this sector years ago. The main display flickered to life, showing New Calgary's orbital space. Sarah's blood turned to ice. Sleek warships bristled with weapons she recognized from intelligence briefings, weapons that belonged to Vexery destroyers, Quillen battlecruisers, Drakner carriers. Every species in the Galactic Commerce Union had sent their military forces. Not for protection. For attack. "They're charging weapons," Jake whispered. "All of them. Targeting the surface. Get me a channel to the colony. Warn them." The first bombardment lance struck before Sarah could finish her sentence. A beam of concentrated plasma punched through the atmosphere, turning night into day on the colony below. Then another. And another. Hundreds of beams lanced down from the alien fleet, each one carrying enough energy to vaporize a city block. "No," Sarah breathed. "No, no, no." New Calgary had been humanity's pride. 8.3 million people called it home. Families. Children. Artists and scientists and farmers and dreamers. The colony had theaters and parks and schools. Sarah's sister lived there with her 3 children. Had lived there. The bombardment continued for 17 minutes. Sarah watched, helpless, as her sensors registered the deaths of millions. The atmosphere burned. The oceans boiled. The carefully tended gardens and farms that had taken decades to establish turned to ash. When the alien fleet finally stopped firing, New Calgary was a dead world wrapped in toxic clouds. "Captain, they're turning toward us," Jake's voice cracked. Multiple target locks. Sarah's grief crystallized into focus. Her crew was alive. She could still save them. Full power to engines. Random evasion pattern. Don't let them get a clean shot. The merchant's dream wasn't built for combat. She was a cargo hauler, bloated with holds and equipped with engines designed for efficiency, not speed. But Sarah had been flying ships since she was 16. She knew every trick, every maneuver that could squeeze extra performance from the reactors. The vessel lurched as Sarah threw it into a spiral, diving toward the planet's gravity well. Plasma bolts seared past, close enough that their radiation triggers alarms across the bridge. One shot clipped the rear shields, sending a shudder through the ship's frame. Shield Generator 3 is offline, reported her chief engineer, Commander Amy Wong, her voice steady despite the terror. We can't take many more hits. We're not going to. Sarah plotted a course that would take them skimming through New Calgary's upper atmosphere, using the planet's bulk as a shield. It was insane. The heat would stress their hull beyond design specifications. But the alternative was certain death. The merchant's Dream plunged into the thermosphere, her hull glowing cherry red. Warning lights blazed across every console. The ship screamed in protest, metal groaning as temperatures soared. Behind them, 3 alien fighters gave chase, but they broke off as the atmospheric friction became too intense. Sarah didn't slow down. She pushed the ship harder, using the planet's gravity to slingshot them away at speeds that made the inertial dampeners whine. They shot past the moon of New Calgary, clearing the gravity well and engaging the quantum drive before the alien fleet could reposition. Reality twisted. Space folded. The merchant's Dream jumped into faster-than-light travel, leaving behind the burning grave of 8 million souls. Earth's awakening. 30 hours later, Sarah's ship limped into Earth's orbital defense perimeter. She had burned out half her systems making the emergency jump. The quantum drive was slag. The hull had stress fractures in 17 sections. But they were alive. And they brought the truth. Admiral Marcus Stone stood in the command center of the United Earth Defense Station, staring at the holographic replay of New Calgary's destruction. His face could have been carved from granite. Sarah sat nearby, wrapped in a thermal blanket, watching the same footage she had witnessed with her own eyes. They didn't even send a declaration of war, Stone said quietly. No warnings. No demands. Just extermination. They've been planning this for years, added Dr. Elena Volkov, Earth's chief of military research. She pulled up data on the screen surrounding them. Look at the positioning. Look at the timing. Every major human colony had a GCU, trade delegation or cultural exchange, visiting in the past 6 months. They were gathering intelligence on our defenses, our population centers, our military capabilities. Sarah felt numb. Why? We gave them everything. Medicine that cured their diseases. Technology that improved their lives. We opened our homes to them. Because we're prey, Stone said. His voice carried no emotion, just cold assessment. In their eyes, we're a resource-rich species that controls valuable territory. They want what we have, and they decided genocide was easier than continued cooperation. What do we do? Sarah asked, though part of her already knew the answer. Stone turned to face the assembled officers filling the command center. Every face showed the same mixture of grief and rage. We've been building weapons, he said. Projects that were classified above top secret. Technologies we developed but never deployed because we believed in peaceful coexistence. His eyes hardened. That belief died with New Calgary. Dr. Volkov activated a series of files. Project Thunderstrike. Project Nightfall. Project Reaper. Humanity has been preparing for this scenario since first contact, even while we hoped it would never come. Schematics filled the displays showing weapon systems that made Sarah's blood run cold. We have quantum disruptor torpedoes that can phase through shields. We have AI-guided swarm drones that can overwhelm point defense. We have gravity manipulation technology that can crush ships like tin cans. We also have 2,000 active warships, Stone added. Not cargo haulers with weapons bolted on. Purpose-built military vessels that we've been constructing in hidden shipyards throughout the outer system. Ships the GCU knows nothing about. Sarah stood, letting the blanket fall away. When do we strike back? 72 hours, Stone replied. We need time to recall our scattered forces, to finish retrofitting the final weapons systems, to coordinate with our intelligence assets. He pulled up a star map showing GCU fleet positions. They think they've crippled us. They think we're a peaceful species that will beg for mercy. They're about to learn they made a terrible mistake. The arsenal awakens. The next 3 days transformed human space. Every shipyard went to full production. Every factory converted to military manufacturing. Every colony activated defense protocols that had existed only in classified documents. Humanity had always been a species that prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. The civilian fleet, thousands of cargo haulers like Sarah's Merchant's Dream, underwent rapid modification. Plasma cannons appeared where cargo doors had been. Shield generators powerful enough to stop military-grade weapons replaced civilian models. Sensor arrays capable of detecting cloaked vessels sprouted from newly installed weapons blisters. But the true power of humanity's response came from the hidden fleet. In the asteroid fields of the outer planets, massive doors opened in rock faces that had seemed natural. Out came vessels unlike anything the galaxy had seen from humanity before. The UES Thunderstrike was a dreadnought 2 kilometers long, bristling with weapons that could crack planets. The UES Phantom was a stealth carrier capable of deploying 5,000 AI drones without ever appearing on enemy sensors. The UES Retribution was a battlecruiser equipped with experimental gravity weapons that could create miniature black holes. Humanity had 20 years of technological development hidden away, waiting for the day when peace failed. That day had come. Sarah found herself assigned to the Thunderstrike as a tactical advisor. Her experience witnessing the attack made her valuable. She stood on the flag bridge next to Admiral Stone, watching as the human fleet assembled in the darkness beyond Jupiter. 2,000 warships, she said quietly. Against how many? Intelligence reports 5,000 GCU vessels, Stone replied. They have us outnumbered 2.5 to 1. And you still think we can win? Stone smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. Captain Chen, humanity has been the underdog before. We've faced extinction events, climate disasters, wars that nearly destroyed our civilization. Every time, we survived by being smarter, more adaptable, and more determined than our enemies. He gestured to the fleet assembling around them. The GCU thinks they understand us. They don't. They're about to face humanity at war. And there is nothing in this galaxy more dangerous. Operation Reckoning. The human fleet struck like a thunderbolt. They didn't target New Calgary or move to defend other colonies. Instead, Admiral Stone ordered a direct assault on the GCU staging area at Sigma Station, deep in alien territory. It was the last thing the GCU expected. Sigma Station was a massive orbital facility that served as the command center for the genocidal campaign against humanity. 5 alien species had their military headquarters there, convinced they were safe in the heart of their own territory. They believed humans would be too busy defending themselves to mount an offensive. They were wrong. The human fleet dropped out of quantum travel in perfect formation, weapons already charged. Sarah watched from the Thunderstrike's bridge as the tactical display showed their targets. Sigma Station sat fat and vulnerable in the center, surrounded by protective rings of warships. All vessels, Admiral Stone broadcast across the fleet channel, weapons free. Show them what happens when you betray humanity. The battle lasted 4 hours. It was the most brutal 4 hours in human history. The Thunderstrike's main cannons fired, each shot carrying enough energy to vaporize a small moon. Quantum disruptor torpedoes phased through alien shields as if they didn't exist, detonating inside ship cores. AI swarm drones poured from the Phantom, thousands of autonomous weapons that picked apart enemy vessels with surgical precision. But humanity's true advantage wasn't technology. It was tactics. The GCU had fought wars before, but always with honor, always following rules of engagement that limited casualties. Humanity had no such restrictions. They had learned warfare from thousands of years of bloody history. They knew how to create chaos, how to instill fear, how to break enemy morale. Human ships didn't stay in formation. They scattered and reformed, attacking from unexpected angles. They used the debris field from destroyed vessels as cover. They targeted command ships first, decapitating the alien chain of command. They broadcast the footage of New Calgary's destruction on every frequency, reminding the aliens what this war was about. The Vexery broke first, their crystal ships shattering under concentrated fire. The Quillen tried to retreat but found their escape routes blocked by human stealth vessels. The Drakner fought bravely but their carrier tactics were useless against swarm drones. The Silthene's engineering marvels proved fragile against gravity weapons. The Korath, the strongest warriors of the GCU, discovered that human marines were willing to board damaged vessels and fight deck by deck with a ferocity that terrified them. When Sigma Station finally exploded, destroyed by a precisely placed quantum torpedo that triggered a cascading reactor failure, the GCU fleet surrendered. 3,000 alien vessels against humanity's 2,000. The numbers had meant nothing. Humanity had won through superior strategy, hidden technology, and sheer relentless determination. A new dawn. 1 month later, Sarah Chen stood in the memorial garden on Earth, looking at the wall of names. 8,300,000 individuals. Each one recorded. Each one remembered. The garden stretched for kilometers, every surface covered with the names of the dead from New Calgary. Admiral Stone stood beside her, his uniform crisp despite the long month of warfare. The GCU had surrendered unconditionally. Treaties were being negotiated. The 5 alien species were paying reparations that would take generations to complete. They'll never forget this, Stone said quietly. Neither will we. What happens now? Sarah asked. Now we rebuild. But we do it differently. Stone gestured to the sky where human warships patrolled in full view, no longer hidden. We trusted once. We were betrayed. The galaxy learned that humanity can be the most cooperative, generous, peaceful species you'll ever meet. He paused. They also learned what happens when you betray that trust. Sarah thought about her sister and her nieces and nephews, gone forever. She thought about the 8 million souls whose names surrounded her. She thought about the price of peace and the cost of war. We gave them everything, she said. And they took it for weakness, Stone replied. Now they know better. Humanity will be generous again. We'll trade, cooperate, explore. But we'll do it with our weapons visible and our fleets ready. Let the galaxy know, betray us once, and we become something they can never defeat. Sarah placed her hand on the memorial wall, feeling the names etched into the stone. Humanity had paid a terrible price to learn this lesson. But they had learned it well. The galaxy had thought they could betray humanity and win. They had thought wrong. And the universe would remember, for generations to come, the day that humanity's trust turned to thunder.